Visuals now, as you can see, some of the police services personnel, of course, there at the shops. I assume that they are asking to see permits then at this time. Let me just check if Ofentse Setimo is indeed ready to speak to us. A very good evening to you, Ofentse. I know that you've had quite a busy day in Pretoria. Take us through your day and what has been happening there in Pretoria from the roadblocks to where you are stationed at this point.
Thank you very much, Sepiso. As you can see, there is a hive of activity here in SAPS, where law enforcement agencies comprising of the soldiers, the Tshwane Metro Police and the SANDF, all supporting the SAPS, are here to enforce the lockdown regulations. It's now day 30 of the lockdown, and as you heard the president yesterday, he actually reduced the intensity of the lockdown from level 5 to level 4. But there has been some concerns that, especially in the townships, there's lack of compliance to the regulations. People are going on as though it's still business as usual. So the SANDF has now deployed around 70,000 of its members to try and enforce the law, to ensure that people stay at home, to emphasize the message that people should stay at home. But we'll be joined by Captain Tabosillo now, who's going to tell us a bit more about the operation itself. Thank you so much, Captain. Can you just tell us about the operation, what's happening here in SAPS at the moment?
Good evening to your listeners as well. We are here in Mamelodi, executing one of our night patrols. As you can see, we are busy on foot patrolling the streets. Earlier on, we entered one of the spaza shops, and we did check the permit, and the member is still in compliance. There's something that he needs to change there and there, but he's still all right. Yes, sir.
And can you tell us, I understand that especially the entrances of Mamelodi, most of them, there will be roadblocks that are meant by SANDF supporting the SAPS.
Yes, most of the exit in Mamelodi, if you can see, there are members and a lot of SAPS and Tshwane Metro Police service members on these roadblocks, conducting road checkpoints as to the movement in and out, because people were not supposed to be moving around the street this time. They were supposed to be inside their houses, and they will, if they find people roaming in the street, definitely they were going to arrest them, because they know the lockdown, they are supposed to be inside their house by now.
Yes. And I understand the deployment is around over 70,000 of your members are actually nationally on the streets. Can you tell us some of the divisions which are actually operating?
Okay, point of correction, 70,000 not yet. That is still in the pipeline. There's still a lot of meetings and a lot of discussion taking place. However, as we can see, as we speak now, there's also other night patrol taking over in all 9 provinces. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. You heard it from the captain himself, Captain Tabosillo, actually saying that it's still work in progress in order to deploy the over 70,000 members of the SANDF troops to try and enforce the law. And the message is clear that they are trying to emphasize that stay at home in order to reduce the curve of COVID-19, Sepiso.
All right, it's flow, but just a quick one for you there, Ofentse. And of course, you're in Mamelodi, not in SAPS, as we initially thought you were. In terms of the permits, I mean, I saw some visuals of the policemen looking at what I assume they were looking at permits from one of the spaza shop owners there. Has there been quite a bit of an issue with regards to permits? Are people indeed taking out permits? And, you know, we'd heard of people even having fake permits. What's happening with regards to those spaza shops in the townships? Do they indeed have valid permits to be trading at this time? I mean, what are some of the issues that the police are sort of finding as they patrol there in the townships?
Thanks, Tepi. So we're actually in SAPS, and at the entrance, we saw some of the passengers that were taken out of a taxi. One of them claimed to be selling masks from a hospital, and when they tried to look for the permit, unfortunately, the person did not have a permit, and eventually he was apprehended. But when it comes to most of the, the taverns and the informal traders, the city of Tshwane actually made it very clear that in order to trade during this lockdown, you definitely have to have a permit. And it was widely announced that people that are informal traders selling, vegetables and all that other stuff have to get the permit. So dates were set. In fact, the issuing of permits, the dates were extended for people to come forward and get those permits. In fact, when we spoke to the administrator of Tshwane, he actually mentioned that this will also assist them in order to have a record of all the people that are doing business in Tshwane, and they will also try to empower them so that they can take care of their families.
All right, and then at the roadblock that you were at earlier, we did see some visuals coming there from the major roads there in Pretoria. Were people arrested? Were there people who indeed were not supposed to be there? I am aware that there are people who have decided they are just taking their chances. Were the police strict and indeed arresting people there?
Yes, I think there's a gentleman who was actually warned that he's not supposed to be out on the streets without a permit, especially after claiming that he was selling masks at a hospital, in order to ensure that people are protected. But the police would not budge, as they felt that he needed to have a permit in order to be in the street. And as you can see now, there's another operation that's currently underway where they are actually checking whether the people on the streets are actually supposed to be on the streets and have the relevant paperwork in order to be on the streets.
All right, Ofentse talking to us there from Mamelodi at township in Pretoria. Ofentse Setimo, they're coming to us live. All right, we're going to take a short break. I'm clearly not Sepiso. I'm